Yeah, so now comes an interesting point. So generally people worship all kinds of gods and demigods. Now if you observe that phenomena or that characteristic, again we can understand why they worship all. Basically it's a case of they worship all. Okay, so everybody is pacified, satisfied, we are paying our taxes, then we can enjoy. That's the idea which is coming. ठीक है, आप सब लोग ऊपर बैठो सिंहासन पे और हमको हमारा सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन करने दो. So you see the mindset is like that, is it not? That's a mindset which is being which is arising. Actually the mindset is like that. Therefore you will see that this platform is actually a risky platform. The mode of goodness. So now this platform is a risky platform. Now you see the Lord explains further. In text 5 and 6, the Lord is going to highlight this aspect of the Lord is going to highlight the essential crying or the hankering which is taking place. That is the satiation for false ego. Those who undergo severe austerities and penances, not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism, who are impelled by lust and attachment, who are foolish and who torture the material elements of the body, as well as the super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons. So again the Lord came to this again the Lord came to the conclusion that okay, those who are driving themselves on false ego, the lust, anger, attachment, are actually demons, nothing else. They are doing unnecessary, unrecommended austerities, and they are doing imaginary stunts, disturbing the elements of the body, disturbing the balance of the world, disturbing the super soul. That's all. So this is interesting. So rather, you see, the point is the Lord is offering a mechanism. So the Lord is explaining what is this drive or feeding or worshipping of false ego is a dangerous drive, because ultimately one will be caught by lust and attachment, and then one takes up to illusory and imaginary ways of worship. And that imaginary ways of worship are a roadway towards demoniac traits, progressive demoniac traits, nothing else. There are persons who manufacture modes of austerity and penance which are not mentioned in scriptural injunctions. Fasting for some ulterior purpose, such as to promote a purely political end, not mentioned in scriptural directions. The scriptures recommend fasting for spiritual advancement, not for political end or social purpose. Persons who take to such austerities are, according to Bhagavad Gita, certainly demoniac. Their act against the scriptural injunctions are not beneficial for people in general. Actually, they act out of pride, false ego, lust, attachment for material enjoyment. By such activities, not only is the combination of material elements in which the body is constructed disturbed, but also the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself living within the body. Such unauthorized fasting or austerities for some political end are certainly very disturbing to others. They are not mentioned in Vedic literature. A demoniac person may think that he can force his enemy or other parties to comply with his desire by this method, but sometimes one dies by such fasting. These acts are not approved by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he says that those who engage in them are demons. Such demonstrations are insults to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they are enacted in disobedience to the Vedic scriptural injunctions. The word achetasaha is significant in this connection. Persons of normal mental condition must obey the scriptural injunctions. Those who are not in a position neglect and disobey the scriptures and manufacture their own way of austerities and penances. One should always remember the ultimate end of the demoniac people as described in the previous chapter. The Lord forces them to take birth in the wombs of demoniac persons. Consequently, they live by demoniac principles life after life without knowing their relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If, however, such persons are fortunate enough to be guided by a spiritual master who can direct them to the path of Vedic wisdom, then they can get out of this entanglement and ultimately achieve the supreme goal. So Prabhupada is explaining the point here that you see now the point which is coming up, uh, Lord Krishna is bringing out is that owing to this false ego, pride, or material attachment, uh, the person is concocting very dangerous kind of austerities and penances. Very dangerous kind of austerities and penances. Therefore, a person, very dangerous kind of austerities and penances. So, which are ghastly, which are miserable, and which are abominable. Uh, like yeah, which are abominable actually, like fasting. Prabhupada is telling fasting for political end. Prabhupada give a very simple example. Fasting for some political end. Prabhupada is saying that some people die also. So they think they can drive and make the other person comply. Uh, but this is not according to scriptural injunctions. These kind of penances are very deadly. Like sometimes in the association of devotees also, you know, a devotee may want his way to be done. So he may come, he may shout, howl in the meeting. Then he may say, okay, I boycott, like that. So he may not, so because he's angry because what he wanted is not being sanctioned. He may be wanting some funds or whatever that is not sanctioned. So he says, okay, I boycott. Then he's not coming to the temple for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, like that. Then so one may say, okay, this is penance, but this is very foolish penance, is it not? It's very foolish penance, mode of ignorance, nothing else, is it not? So it is very foolish penance. Sometimes some devotees torture themselves, is it not? So that's all concocted. They torture themselves. Uh, so you see that now we can understand that tendency to cling on to extreme practices will arise from the platform which the Lord is speaking here. The lust, attachment, is it not? Excessive. So you see, like what austerity is mentioned in Krishna consciousness? Very minimal. Sometimes there is fasting till noon. Rarely there is fasting till evening, is it not? Only one day there is fasting till next day morning, is it not? But that is also qualified. Still prasad is there. Anytime you can pass by, you can take, is it not? So not a problem. But the orientation is be engaged and absorbed in service to Krishna, for pleasing Krishna. So now, but then one wants to do an extreme display of austerity. Extreme. Like say for example, in general Ekadashi, there is no clause for unnecessary no, austerity which is recommended. What is the clause? The clause is just to give fast from grains. The main clause is engage more in devotion and service. No, but that doesn't give a nobody understands. Okay, you engage in devotion service a little more. I mean, how does one understand that? Is it not? So, but then the thing is extreme, is it not? Extreme. So extreme is always concocted, is it not? And that is not that is not recommended. So that will lead a very different kind of result, is it not? Extreme. Sometimes some devotees unnecessarily they start cutting down meals. Unnecessarily they start so that so they want to say, okay, I am very sadhu. So sadhu is not like that. The point is that anything which is concocted like this is dangerous. Is going to lead us to trouble. The trouble is what? It is we are feeding the same kind of traits uh, which actually the demoniac people take up. Is it not? So the journey, spiritual journey will become troublesome. That's the whole point. Therefore, one has to understand that nothing extreme which is required. And now only we need to sincerely follow the instructions. That's all. Like what time to wake up in the morning? Papa said 4:30. You get up at 4 o'clock. Is it not? Okay, we have for us three because of 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock class. It was 3:45. So you can get up at 3:30. Okay, 3:20. Not at 2 o'clock. Is it not? Oh, but they sleep also early, no? Some if some devotee is sleeping at 8 o'clock, then he is getting at 2 o'clock. It's fine. But what our devotees do is that they want to show heroism both ways. They want to sleep at 12 o'clock to show that you see I'm doing so much seva for the mission of the Lord. So some devotee, they will come back 11:45 doing follow up. Why? Because 9:30 they left for follow up. They went only at 9:30 for follow up. Then they definitely will come back at 11. And then everybody saying, "Oh Prabhu, you are stretching so much for proper mission." And what stretching? You could have gone 6 o'clock and come back at 8:30. Is it not? So stretching or messing? Is it not? So this is the point. The sleep at 12 o'clock and wake up at 2 o'clock or 2:30. That because so it is all concocted. It's not much substantial. Do fasting. Okay. So what about Bhishma Panchak? That is the question. Now, what is the fasting? What one has to fast from?
I think we can force his enemy as a part of this.
So basically, the simple thing is that I feel on part of devotees we have to understand uh, uh, that do we have patrata for any such thing like this? And, so I had understood there used to be this Pandam Nirjal Ekadashi, and dry shampoo would be very heavy on those days. Why? Because devotees will always keep the watch and say, "Hey, fasting, fasting. You also fasting? You also, I also fasting. How many rounds? How many rounds? Oh, you only 32? I 64. So that used to go on actually. So it would be a ridiculous scene, and many times dry shampoo would beat that a lot. Shampoo would beat that a lot. So what was Shampoo's matrix? So if you who can do Nirjala? If you can be fully absorbed in service and you don't even realize that you are hungry and you can go on at top skier, serving, then you fast, no problem. Yeah. So not that you are saying, you sitting with the, with the, holding the stomach, like that, you're sitting in the prasadam hall, at least I can see others taking prasad, so something like that, and you're just wanting that time gets killed, like that. Better eat something and do some proper chanting, do some proper Krishna Katha, and it takes 10 minutes to eat, is it not? Like that. So sometimes there is so much of highlight on a small thing that the whole big picture is forgotten, is it not? So so I had followed Nirjan fasting for some years till the time I got this ulcer problem and all that. But those days I used to be extra enthusiastic. Yeah, one time I was doing shifting, of first year students on that day. Yeah, I was shifting in Pune SIT Kondo. I was shifting the students on that day. Oh, morning program ended. I gave class. I did receivership. I did altar cleaning. Then I just served prasad to the existing devotees, and then I caught some of them, and then I was going meeting first years, bringing their luggage, and encouraging them, everything and all that. And when it became 12 o'clock, I didn't come to know only. It was 12:40 or so. I realized that what was it today? Oh, we have to take prasad now. I was about to go and take rest. So that is the case, then it's fine. But if that is not the case, then it's not fine. That way. So we have to understand that what is the patrata, so we have to see things from a holistic perspective in that sense. But that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that we go to the other extreme. We say, okay, everybody is fasting. All the Mahaprasad of the Lord is for me now. And one is drinking juice, eating fruits, having sweet, like that. So one time I remember I was doing Nirjala fasting, one devotee called me, and he was having a big feast, like that, and he was relishing very nicely, like that. But it was 8-9 p.m. in the night. So one should not be in an elaborate mood also, is it not? That is also there. The principle cannot be completely neglected. The principle should not be completely followed. And extra things like Vishnu Panchak and all, that. See, I know what happened in our temple, So I know what happened in our temple. It came as a fashion. That's all. There was no spirit of, it came as a fashion. You just cook something, and just take one morsel, or I don't know, with the mouth, you eat something little bit and all that. It just came as a fashion. So it was not much, so sometimes it happens, in association, some things just come like a fashion, some things just come like a fashion. Like one time this fashion came, another time, the another fashion came in our temple. That was hodal fashion, So yeah, so hodal is one place in near Vrindavan where there is one Ayurvedic doctor. So somehow he became famous. I don't know how he became famous, but somehow he became famous, and oh, that wave came, hodal. Everybody wanted to go there, So our devotees started going there and all that, and hodal give these many medicines and all. Oh, as a result of those medicines, you will have to go to toilet 10 times a day and all that. So even if you are fatty and all, you become like skinny and completely like bony, skinny, like a big renunciant and all that. He would do some revamping, overvamping and all that. So it became a fashion, everybody doing it, no. Radheshyam Prabhu went to hotel because he was thinking that he will leave his body. Therefore, he went to hotel. That's true. So therefore, Radheshyam Prabhu, after coming back, he said only this person is only extreme cases expert. Only in extreme cases, and you have no other life. Like everybody else says that okay, you have only a few weeks to go, a few months to go. Nothing can save you. Then you can try that person out. Because anyways, if it fails, anyways you're dying. And if it is, so that was the point. Rai Shimpu said like that when he came back to Pune. But then it became a fashion. So extreme austerities like that. And I remember in Vrindavan Yatra, one time some devotees caught me and took me to hotel. And they said, मैंने कहा मैं ठीक हूँ ना, मेरे को प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ना, मतलब मेरा है थोड़ा बहुत है ना, थोड़ा स्पॉन्डोलोसिस है, थोड़ा आर्थरोसिस है, आर्थरोसिस, स्पॉन्डोलोसिस, ऑस्मोसिस, ऑस्टियोसिस, स्कोलियोसिस, या तो वही सब है ना. And you can summarize it by osmosis, like that, ना. So like that, so all those things were there. I said यही सब है, थोड़ा बच्चे ने बहुत बड़ा लिस्ट है ना, तो बस चलो जस्ट अकम्पनी अस ना. ठीक है, कंपनी देख लेंगे कौन है भाई, है ना, who is this person, कितना क्या है ना, like that. So then everybody was showing, they said तुम भी दिखा दो ना अपना, ये क्या है तुम्हारा ऑस्मोसिस है ना, like that, porosis, osmosis, मैं दिखा दिया है ना. So he was telling this. He said ये ना गंभीर है. गंभीर है, अच्छा ये क्या होगा, है ना. बोले ये ऐसे ऐसे नहीं कर पाओगे तुम आगे, ऐसे ऐसे भी नहीं कर पाएंगे तो डेंजरस हो जाएगा ना. है ना. That's what he said. तो क्या करना पड़ेगा ना, आया से दवाई खाना पड़ना पड़ेगा, है ना. अच्छा, तो देन आई आल्सो फेल्ट, अरे ऐसे भी नहीं कर पाएंगे, ऐसे भी नहीं कर पाएंगे, खा ही लेते हैं दवाई, है ना. आई गॉट फियरफुल, आई टुक मेडिसिन, है ना. सो या वो उसके मतलब बिग बिग बॉटल से परहेज करना होगा, दवाई खाना होगा. आई थॉट अभी क्या करें, आगे कुआ पीछे खाइए ना, ऐसे ऐसे से अच्छा खा लेते हैं ना. So I got fearful. I had no mood. I was enjoying yatra, this, and then one more devotee was there like me, like that. So he was a little more intelligent than me. I got completely, washed up by the circumstances. So he said, एक बार पूछ लेते हैं हमारे प्रभु जी से, है ना. तो ही said, चलो किससे पूछे, है ना, तो फोन जिसका लग जाए उनसे पूछ लेते हैं. तो फोन लगा रहे थे आचानपू इधर उधर, ना, संकीर्तनपुर ने उठा लिया गलती से, ना, हम लोग लगा रहे थे to ask. So both of us wanted to ask. It was his idea. I thought, हाँ ये अच्छा है, एक बार पूछ लेते हैं, पूछ लेंगे तो अच्छा रहेगा. Because money also was involved, ना. 2000-3000 का दवाई, फिर एक महीने बाद फिर नेक्स्ट दवाई, and things like that. And संकीर्तन को said, अरे you fools, what are you up to, ना, कुछ है नहीं, इधर उधर वापस आओ ऐसे ही, ना. Oh, then he said, sorry प्रभु, लेकिन वो काट दिया दवाई, है ना, काट दिया नहीं, उसको वापस करो ना. So then we went to him. He said, "वापिस करना है वगैरह." So 600-800 rupees was cut, ना. 600 rupees was cut, I think, because something he has mixed some medicine and all, and others he took it back, like that. So the point is, what I'm trying to say, unnecessary austerity, because it came as a fashion. Because it came as a fashion. So it's like, one person is doing, everybody starts doing. That is not the kind of thing. So our temple, I know these things come as a fashion, like that. So it has to be very, carefully, undertaken. It has to be carefully undertaken. Very carefully undertaken, like that. So we have to see whether we can serve properly or not. That's a matrix. And honestly, sincerely, I can say that, okay, sometimes 1 day, 2 day, 3 days in a year is fine. But more than that, at least for myself, I can say it hampers the service. It hampers the consciousness. So each one of us have to individually see, are we Krishna conscious? If we are not, better be Krishna conscious. That's the underlying matrix, and we can decide for ourselves. So it's like that. Yes, if one is fasting for a cause, one is feeling like that, he'll be enthusiastic doing seva. Is it not? Like that. If one is feeling that he is fasting, he won't be sleeping. क्योंकि I am fasting for Bhakti Vinod Thakur. But आप क्या कर रहे हैं? Bhakti Vinod Thakur तो such an acharya, such powerful. If you are meditating, कुछ तो करना चाहिए ना आपको, जप करना चाहिए, lecture hearing, सेवा, कुछ तो करना चाहिए. But if somebody is just sleeping, we should reserve that day for basic seva. We should do. So whether one should do sadhana or seva, that depends on person to person. Some devotees can relish a lot of sadhana, others get a lot of relish by seva also. So it depends. So the main thing is, the punchline matrix is absorb yourself. Is it not? But थोड़ा सेवा करना होगा, डेटीज के लिए कुकिंग करना होगा. ये नहीं बोल सकते आज तो फास्टिंग है ना, तो फास्टिंग है तो क्या करें, केवल जॉब करेंगे, नहीं तो डेटीज नॉन डिफरेंट है ना. Is it not? Like that. So one has to be holistic. Basically be absorbed. When option is there, we can exercise our, we can channelize our desires. Where there is option, we can do what we like. That's fine. You know? A major part of the day, the option is there. Is it not like that? Yeah, basic fasting days, jo, you know, at least I feel, yeah. So basic fast, we can try. We can try till whatever, you know, and after some time, you know, we know our capacity. So that means who does not fast, generally it's some disease case. Like in my extreme ulcer case, it would be a huge problem to fast. But sometimes I'm trying now to do till 12 o'clock. Not like that. Or it depends on the body, you know. So if you can be Krishna conscious, you know. For some it's okay, you know. For some, you know, it depends on, you know, it depends on body, like that. Or one may be diseased and he may not in that phase fast. But when he overcome the disease after 2-3 years, then he may fast. It depends. The principle of keeping the body a little tight and rough is important, like that. So that should not be neglected. Therefore, we should try. No, that is also not good. Yes, that is also not good. If we can fast, we should fast.
Prescribed fasting should be done if the body is alive.
But prescribed means Janmashtami, Radhashtami, not Vishnu Panchak. Vishnu Panchak is an additional thing.
Like tomorrow we have fasting.
So Vishnu Panchak is an additional thing, you know. So one has to be Kartik fasting, Vishnu Panchak fasting, Purushottam month fasting, and Ekadashi Nirjal fasting. If you can do, you can. I mean, we ourselves can judge it for ourselves, but it's not needed as such. So, hmm. Oh, so how our torturing the body tortures the super soul? The super soul feels very bad. The Lord is a person; he has feelings. We are messing up with the body unnecessarily. Krishna is telling everything should be balanced, and we take extreme stands. The Lord becomes very sorrowful. Lord is a person; he has feelings. So, you know, he has not made a process of extreme torture. He has made a simple process which is relishable. But we ourselves introduce additional torturous. The Lord becomes. The Lord feels sorry for us. That's the point. So it's not that the Lord is so disturbed he cannot function. You know, he has to take a day off. No, not like that. Krishna cannot be affected, but Krishna feels sorry for us. Like that. That's the whole point. Krishna feels sorry for us. It's disturbing. No, that was only for a fasting day. Only for a Janmashtami day. When we are saying that okay, exclusively one should be absorbed. So whether one should be absorbed doing sadhana or seva. That is the point. So basic minimum seva everyone should do. But after over and beyond that, the general principle is be absorbed anywhere. So if one is absorbed doing more sadhana, he can do more sadhana. But if somebody else absorbed doing more seva, then that is equivalent. There's not that something is higher, something is lower. That's the point. But this is not true for a generic day. No, in general, the principle is that in general, in a generic day, this may not be true. For a generic day, we are given a full balance of seva, sadhana, and generally our devotees are not able to fulfill the optimum criteria for each. So if you can fulfill the optimum criteria for everything, then you can do whatever, then one can do whatever, one likes, or the seva which one likes. But that time will not be too much. Like, but actually a devotional service to somehow or the other get, take out time to do what one likes. if we put that on one hand, and if we put another another type of attitude, the attitude is that okay, one is doing a sadhana seva, and whatever prescribed seva, but one wants to take more and more responsibilities for the mission. So uh, so of the two, the latter will receive more mercy that way. Although both are okay, although the former is okay because one is trying to be Krishna conscious, uh, uh, but it's like something like if you see in our home something is messy, how can we just overlook it? This is not my seva. That's the point. It is not. When you say in Krishna's palace, how can we just overlook saying that okay, this is not my seva? No. If we see, because it all depends on, so sometimes therefore the attempt to try for more and more service will attract more mercy. Because you see, if you just say that okay, now we have to preach now, okay, so I will just do one preaching program in a week, in which 10 people are coming, and uh, so then for most of the time in the week, then we are empty, is it not? So one may say, okay, I am doing seva, but that's not sufficient, is it not? When so many people are not Krishna conscious, and we see so many of our acharyas are day and night working hard to help, to serve, to preach. Now, how can we just resist not assisting? No? How can we say, okay, let me just, I like mridangam, let me just play mridangam? That way. So, however, liking has a utility. What is the utility of liking? Has a place, a very good place value. What is it? Its place value can come very nice when we are, say, frustrated, fed up, we are in low spirit. Then we can do something what we like in Krishna consciousness, not sense gratification, in Krishna consciousness. And sense gratification by default everybody will like. There's no question on that. So what we like in Krishna, like somebody is very fed up, like that. Now if he likes, say, doing kirtan, then he can sit to the mridangam, do some kirtans. So by that, because he likes that service, he will feel a bit nourished, is it not? Then he can come back to the seva front again, is it not? So that has a place value, liking. So liking has not is not to be totally denied. But looking out for just liking timing may not be a very good idea. Yeah, so that's the point. So one should we hear spiritual advancement is dependent on how much responsibilities you want to take for the mission. The philosophy behind that is very simple. It is Krishna's home. We see Krishna's heart and concern. Through the acharyas, by watching senior devotees, we can understand what is Krishna's concern, Krishna's heart. After knowing what is Krishna's heart, if we play only a regulated role, how can we just play a regulated role? Is it not? My say was only 3 hours per week. No? That way, right?
Say that they are inferior to, is there any inferior superior in the devotees who are really relation sadhana? Just
No, if you are talking about okay acharyas, Goshti Anandi, Bhajananandi acharyas, we made the point that acharyas who are pure devotees, both may be pure devotees, but we remember more prominently those who sacrificed, the Goshti Anandi acharyas who sacrificed, struggled. We remember them more. So that's the point. So that is for us, for our sake, like that. So if it is acharya, that doesn't matter for them, what they do, whether they purify So Bhajanandi Acharyas by walking around, by chanting, they're purifying the atmosphere. But provided that's mentioned for a pure devotee, like that. Now for uh, 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 for a sadhaka, for a sadhaka, uh, uh, for a sadhaka, you see, the point is, for a sadhaka, everything should come under instructions. The Lord is highlighting the aspect here about instructions, that nothing should be self-concocted. One cannot say, okay, for me, the service will be 6 hours Bhagavatam. No, actually, it should come under instruction, is it not? It should come under instruction. So that's the point. Now, everything should be under the instruction. Otherwise, we may fall trap to the feeding of false ego, which gets manifested in imaginary and weird kind of things, like that. So sadhana should come, I mean, everything should come under instruction, actually. That's the point. And yeah, everything should come under instruction. So generally the devotees who know us, generally the devotees, it is always best to to validate our thoughts from devotees who know us. Sometimes some devotees actually go for validation to very senior Maharajas who don't even who know nothing about us, and then they post a question, and generally everything is fine. Anything one does is fine, but what exactly one needs depends on very specific configuration of the person, whether it is helping him or not. Just like in medicine also, there are many bona fide medicine, but certain medicine will not work for a certain person. Some other configuration medicine will work for him. So now, what is the configuration of the person? Unless one knows that, how the thing may not be proper. So that devotees who have seen us, they can only tell us that, okay, it's a good thing, but it won't work so much for you. In a positive sense, like that. Because ultimately we can do something which gives us nourishment and takes us forward. If something is creating an issue, we may not like, say for example, in general, doing, say, exercise or running, very good for health. But somebody having diseased, if somebody has got a ligament injury, say for example, then for him doing running will be troublesome, will be painful. He cannot run, although running is good. So now somebody has to know that, okay, this person, now for him running is not good till the time he gets cured of that one problem, is it not? But in general, running is very good. So sometimes, so this is one thing which we have to understand, that the basic punchline is of the section here is that, one should not go on imaginary zone, because that is full on worshipping of false ego. At least one should follow something. Therefore, the Shastras are not just giving one level of instruction. Shastras always give multiple level of instructions. You see many times senior devotees also follow that. When you go to them, they will give 3-4 options. Now you can choose. So choose means what? If you can follow the best, fine. If not this, if not this, if not this, is it not? So one can choose. Okay, this, if not this, if not this, if not this. The Shastras also are like that. So the whole point is that be within the instruction framework. Be within the instruction framework. Then we are safe. It is going to be, then it is going to be safe, and it is going to be nourishing. Otherwise, it becomes a troublesome affair. And that's the whole import of the section here, to highlight that how the troublesome, the extreme stands lead to a troublesome manifestation. And the pathway becomes, person gets a lot of jolts in that pathway.